when you're opting in or you're submitting a lead to a third party most likely is going to ask in the fine print in the private policy agreement a third party is going to be reaching out to you, calling you, emailing, and texting you. Something I do want to shed light to every dealership is that if the employee is using their personal cell phone, they are not the third party. They are the fourth party, and it puts them at risk of lawsuits.
Or the dealership.
And the dealership.
Yeah.
So, we hear dealerships all over the country saying, oh, well, how come your text performance isn't where it needs to be? And they'll say, well, they're using their phones. Well, that is a complete federal violation. I mean, that is something that a dealership needs to grab onto. I mean, I've had a lot of dealerships personally myself. I've gone through lawsuits because of that reason.
I think you're talking about the CAN Spam Act there, and then there's some privacy laws that different states
Huge
have passed.
privacy laws with texting,
Absolutely.
especially sales to consumer.
And it makes it really difficult to report and monitor follow-up. If the salesperson is following up outside of the CRM, what's the point of the CRM, right? The whole point of it is to manage opportunities and create additional opportunities. If we can't tell when the salespeople are following up with the customers, it makes it really difficult for us to manage those opportunities. Not to mention, God forbid they decide to go sell a car down the road at XYZ Motors, they have their entire book of business in their pocket. That's actually your book of business, but you've allowed them to conduct their business with their personal phone. So they can dial for dollars, and we all know they do. So they can use their personal phones, they just have to use the mobile app.
Just a good way to mitigate that, I mean, you can assign each of your sales reps, your managers, their own number within the system. And that way, there's no reason that they have to use their personal phones to text anybody.
Yeah.
Your store, if you have SMS, MMS, whatever it is, you have one number, but there are abilities to assign one to each person to make sure that we're able to essentially track everything that they're doing, but also, that's the phone number that goes in their signature.
On their business cards, on
Their
their
business
website.
cards, assign their own personal text number and put on their business cards their contact info signatures. That's a huge thing, Ange. That's something I learned recently from you. That's great.
So I assume a dealer would say, hey, you got to use the app to text customers. Are there any good ways that a manager or a principal could check on the compliance with that policy or make sure that the salespeople are doing what they're supposed to be doing there?
I think you can look at things like activity breakdown or anything like that to make sure that they're utilizing it. This is a report, that you can absolutely take a look at. I would think, I don't know how you feel about this, but somewhere between text opt-in and license scanning, if you're using the app, you're going to get both
Right.
out of it.
Of course.